Hello there, and welcome to Davao del Sur, Mindanao Island, Philippines. Uh, I had this channel for quite a while, and I have been sharing some cute short movies about nature, about my son, and basically a little bit about the Philippines, where I've been living for several. And in June, me and my girlfriend slash wife and our baby boy. We moved from the province Davao Occidental, which was basically in the jungle with very beautiful surroundings and beautiful people, but extremely bad internet and very bad when it comes to buying stuff. So finally, we found a house in Digos City, which is quite close to Davao City. So we enjoy the place here. Digos is a very cozy town. Don't have many high-rise buildings, and the main transportation system consists of vans and buses, and for local transportation they use tricycles. So the good thing about Digos is that they have some malls. Okay, the beach is not particularly clean, I suppose. I have not been willing to swim in the beach here because this is quite a big city. A lot of people, I guess, their stuff from their toilet and things will go straight into the ocean. That's what I suppose. Somebody can prove me otherwise. I would like to go swimming here, but anyway, what we enjoy here is really going to the malls. So they have something called the marketplace. Uh, it's a reddish building, quite new building, 3 or 4 floors, and then you have I'm always confused because it's called G Mall or Gaisano Mall or whatever. So in the very downtown, they have a big Gaisano Grand Mall. I think that is what we call it, the Grand Mall, which is very big but also quite old. And then my favorite place is the G Mall, which is like on the west side of the city center. Uh, they have so many nice eateries and shops in all these malls. Air condition, of course, and in the new the mall, the G Mall, which is in the west part of the center, they have even many cinema theaters. So that is very interesting. Well, it was interesting until the earthquakes hit. The first earthquake hit on October 16, and we were here in the house, and we scrambled into the doorways. You see the doorways here behind me, because I learned from when I was a kid. Actually, I was reading some books about survival, and they say if there's an earthquake, you should find a safe place to stay, like in a doorway. And well, we have a table here in the living room, but it's made of glass. So we didn't think about. And I'm a big man, so I couldn't get on the table or under the bed or something like that. So we basically chose to stay in these uh, wooden frames, opened the doors, and just took refuge there. And I was here with my girlfriend slash wife and two of her nieces helping us out here with the stuff with the baby and so forth. And it was really scary when we have some buses, or not maybe not buses, but really huge trucks passing by in the street not so far from here. You can actually feel the ground is a little bit shaking. So I suppose this house is used to some shaking. So when this happens, with the earthquakes, we think, oh, that's just another truck coming too fast, too heavy loaded, but no. It's really scary, really scary. Thankfully, it's not lasting that long. If it would last very long, of course, it would devastate the whole thing. Now, the thing is that there were so many aftershocks, and I couldn't sleep, you know. And many people were like that. Many people moved out on outside the houses. Even our neighbors here, they have been sleeping outside their house, even if I suppose their house is of a good quality. This house here is very strong. It's made of concrete, not hollow blocks as is usual in the Philippines. So we don't have any cracks or damages to this house at all. But you know, the thing is, already after the first big earthquake, where it was measured to 6.2, I think, on the Richter scale, and follow, like I tell you, with actually literally hundreds of earthquakes. At some days, I think it would be like a couple of hundred earthquakes. And you never know when it's coming and how big it's going to be. So anyway, the thing was that these malls, all of them, were closed after the big first quake on October 16. And then after some days, you know, they evaluated the stuff. They had engineers coming all over the place and checking out. So after some days, we were able to go to the G Mall, the new mall. We were very happy to go there, and that was on a Monday. I was also in the bank, local bank, Security Bank, on Monday. I opened an account here. And then Tuesday morning around 9 o'clock, there was a large earthquake, 6.5 or 6.6. And just half an hour later, on that very same Tuesday, 29th of October, I think it was, there came another earthquake. People say it was only one earthquake, but no, it was two very distinct earthquakes with approximately half an hour in between them in the morning. So, wow. I took a ride downtown to see a little bit what was going on, and of course, the malls were closed again. And for me, who want to buy butter, real butter, not margarine and stuff like that, there are not many places I can find those things that I like, you know. So, but we had to go to the market because everything was closed down. And then on the Thursday, 30th of October, now I must look at the calendar, let's see here. The Thursday, 31st of October, also in the morning, around 9 o'clock, there came another devastating 6.5 earthquake. And I took a new round in the city with my tricycle to see what was going on and try to film something. And this third earthquake really took down the whole society here. It was quite scary. Of course, it's scary with earthquakes, and you see a lot of people. They don't live inside the hospital. Now they are back inside the hospitals, but everybody was actually living like under some kind of tent. And they sell a lot of tents, the shops here, because people want to stay outside. They don't dare to stay inside their houses because of the quakes. So what happened was that, you know, you cannot get anything. My bank, I was supposed to go back there on the Wednesday to get something for how I can transfer money and so forth. But the bank is even now, today, it's closed, the Security Bank in the city center. And you can imagine all the stuff went black. A hotel that we used to stay in, A and B Hotel, in the very center of the city, and all its surrounding neighborhood was on that Thursday, they were damaged. It was black, no electricity. You could see some of the parts of the roof of A&B Hotel had collapsed on the top there, and the neighboring buildings and structures. Wow, it's some of the worst thing I have seen. And of course, some of the old malls, the Gaisano Grand Mall, the old big one, totally. You could see everywhere glass and concrete everywhere. McDonald's, who has a very new restaurant here, closed down because of cracks in the ceiling and maybe the walls. Jollibee closed down. Uh, there was one of the main roads going there close to Jollibee on the back side. It was closed because there's a high-rise building under construction, and they just closed down the whole road because they're maybe afraid that something will fall down and collapse. You never know. Um, so in the middle of all these things, you really understand the fear. That is one thing. Personally, I'm not afraid to die. We are all going to die. But I'm afraid for being hurt, of course. If you get hit by some heavy stuff and it crosses your legs, or it's not a good thing. Of course, it's terrible. Um, so it is like a natural fear that rises up among us. I traveled around here and talked to people, and we drank some beer and trying to laugh off the situation, but it is really quite interesting and scary. So the biggest problem was money. I cannot even today get to my bank, but fortunately I got some money from Norway today, so I will be able to pay for my expenses. But so many people, you can imagine, they have no income. What about their businesses? And I read online the mayor here in Digos said that what is 60 more than 60% of the houses have damages in the city. 60%, you can imagine. So we have some friends who live in Davao City, and they live in a very beautiful condo. Before they lived in another condo that is also very beautiful in the downtown, and it collapsed, more or less collapsed. It has been closed down by the government, city government, because it's really and the couple that just got married, by the way, this weekend, they don't dare to live in their eighth floor. They live on the eighth floor in a new condominium, very nice, expensive, high quality building. But there are also some cracks and damages to that building, so they don't dare to live there. So they live in a very small, simple room with their boy. And so you can see, we on the Thursday, when this last big quake came, I was compelled by my wife and her nieces that we have to escape. And there are some rumors that will be an 8.2 or 8.1 earthquake. And of course, nobody can predict that. That is just evil people who want to put fear among others. All kind of rumors. Of course, there might be an earthquake of 8 point magnitude or more, but there is no way you can say that. So they lied. They went on Facebook and they lied, and they said that they have this information from some public institutions. And that public institution said, of course, we never did that. We don't have any equipment. Nobody in the world has any equipment that can forecast those earthquakes. Another thing was, of course, about tsunamis. Rumors came and people said that the seawater diminished and sank. And so I think that is just rumors, because how can the seawater sink when the earthquake is far inland? It's not in the sea at all. There is nothing happening. So there was no tsunami, but people have been very, very scared. And for me personally, what happened is, when those strong earthquakes come, that is that the power goes out. So on the October 16, the earthquake happened around 7:20, 7:30, something like that in the evening. At that time, usually we would be out in the mall because we like to go in the mall at that time. And I'm very happy we didn't go there because we saw many damages even when the mall was open after some week or so after the first quake. You could see a lot of damages around. Even some of the strong wooden benches were crushed. So you can imagine how it would be to be inside those malls. Um, what I realize is that people they are not prepared for earthquakes. They don't know what to do. They run like headless chicken. The thing is, if you run, it is very likely that you will be hit by falling debris. So I have been experienced strong earthquakes in Davao City also some years ago, and we were in a mall at the time, and we just stood there in the doorway. I mean, like the entrance. And some people run down in the street and they shouting tsunami, tsunami. And my fiance at the time, she said, "Oh, let's go and see the tsunami." I said, "No, we better stay here on the third floor. If there is a tsunami, you don't want to go down and see it because it will drown you, guaranteed." So anyway, here is so much fear and anxiety, and people even fainted by fear of these earthquakes. Digos City is not very far from the very epicenter of the earthquakes, and the interesting thing is that I took my wife/girlfriend and our boy. We went there several times westward to explore. So I know these places, Magsaysay, whatever, I don't remember. The names are quite, but towards Cotabato provinces. And we live here by the volcano. We live very close to the highest mountain peak in the Philippines, Mount Apo, which is approximately 3,000 meters above sea level. And so there were rumors about this volcano, that it has been smoking and was active for several days. So basically, we just had to go. And the thing is, when these earthquakes happen, I tell you, all is dead. Electricity is out for a long time. And if it's in the evening, it's dark, and nobody knows what is going on. You try to go online and see what is happening. There is no information whatsoever. Even after several days, there will be almost no information. I try to check for all kind of news, but no way. So anyway, we decided on the Thursday to get out of town, because before we stayed in a village in Davao Occidental, quite far down south in Mindanao. And according to the messages we got from the people there were not the big earthquakes there like it was here. So we took the tricycle, but we didn't go on the Thursday because I was very tired and there was a lot of traffic. The roads were full of motorcycles and cars and buses. Because this was also coinciding with these religious holidays when people go home and pay respect to the dead. So we went there on Friday. We traveled down south, and when I came to Malita, which is the provincial capital of Davao Occidental, we have been living for a little while in Malita. There was no money there. I forgot to take out money when we left the Digos because we were in a hurry, and so basically everything was empty and offline, but I couldn't see any damages on buildings. I'm sure there were damages, but not visible. All the shops were open, the restaurants were open, hotels were open as far as I can see. So it was a totally different situation. And then we came to our home. We have a small house in the jungle. And the house is new. We built it in June, finished it in June. at least the first part of the house, and there was a lot of cracks in the cement. The house is built of hollow bricks, and then they cover it with some cement, inside, outside on the walls. A lot of cracks there, but it is reinforced with what they call rebar, that is iron bars. So it is a good construction. So we were not afraid to stay there. It was actually very interesting and nice to come back to our small house again. But then I realized I don't have money, and I have actually a lot of plants outside my house here that I'm growing tomato plants and some bell pepper plants and stuff. So I just took my tricycle and drove back to Digos. After one day in the province, I left the guys there. And when I came here, I came in the evening, in the nighttime, luckily. So it was one bank that was working, and I couldn't get more than 5,000 pesos. Usually you can take out 10,000 pesos from the account if you have the money, but it was limited. And the next day it was all, everything was gone. There was no money whatsoever. But I went to pay the electricity bill, and they have an ATM machine inside the electricity company. So I was lucky. I took out some 6,000 pesos from them. And then after I tried again to take out more, no, it was finished. So here you can see how can you survive without money for many, many days. But I was very lucky. I got some little bit money, so we were able to cope. So I watered my plant, and yeah, I took care a little bit. I stayed here a couple of days, and there were no more earthquakes. So I decided to go back. We stayed a little bit more in the province, and I managed to tell them, let's go home, because I have built a bed here. We have air conditioning here. We have great internet. I have my homemade pizza oven outside, which was not damaged at all by the earthquakes. So here we are, and the malls, the big grand Gaisano Mall, the old one, it's still not open. And the marketplace, which is also a nice, great place, it's still under repair. So we have been very active in the public marketplace to buy anything. And that is great, of course, for the vendors there. But I really see they are trying to keep it open in the G Mall. Some parts of the place are off limits for the public, but at least we can go into a couple of areas. So we can get into the supermarket, and we can get into the clothes department and stuff like that. So each end of the building they're open, but the floors, second floor, third floor, they are off limits. And yeah, it's very sad to see the situation. I wonder if the workers get any salary when there is no job for them. It's not only about the fear and about cracks in buildings and stuff like that, but this is really making a big impact in people's financial situation. What can I say more than that? Things are getting back to normal. And I'm very amazed by the mayor here, what he has been saying on the media. So he's calming people down, but he is not lying. He says, of course, there might be some very big earthquakes. So people need to be prepared about housing, about construction codes, about all these things. You have to have a backup plan. You have to have water available, because you see, the electricity is gone so quickly. And what about the water supply? Strong earthquakes might destroy everything, all the infrastructure. I have been thinking about this. There are many bridges here, many rivers, many bridges, and if one of the major bridges, or maybe several of the major bridges, got damaged, destroyed, for heavy traffic, so it couldn't pass. Oh my goodness! You can imagine no rice, no fruits, no, nothing. Everything just stops up. And so that is why also we said, okay, let's go back to the province, because in the province they grow their sweet potatoes, they have their fruits there, they have some cornfields, the fish is still available in the sea. So when we were there were actually only fish to get, and I don't like so much fish, I must admit it, especially if it's cooked in the Filipino style. Fish cooked in Indonesia is very yummy, very tasty, but the style I cook it here is very simple, and yeah. So that was also one of the things I didn't like about staying in the provinces. Me personally, I like beef, and you cannot find beef in almost all of Davao Occidental, which is, by the way, the newest province in the Philippines. Um, and the pizzas. If you find a pizza there, it looks like a cake and it tastes like a cake. It's just terrible. So if you saw now, I just uploaded my video about my pizza oven. Here in Digos, we have great pizzerias. We have one especially I found out is super duper. It's called Daddy's Pizza. So I really enjoy that one. But I like to be able to make my own stuff. And so if you want to see my video about pizza oven made by bricks, you're welcome. Okay, that is all for now. And I just wanted to say that I had 2 laptops destroyed this year, crashed completely. So, and the one I have now is has been fixed by some guy in Malita. He put in some operational system that obviously does not work with Windows Movie Maker. I am used to use Windows Movie Maker, but it just doesn't work with this software. So I have downloaded a free program, but learning a brand new how to use that software, it takes a lot of time. So this is what I've been doing in this night. So wow, okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had learned something from this video.